Hello and welcome back to Angel Financial Academy. In this video, we continue to discuss the journey to financial freedom using lessons from the experts. Financial control is a continuous process that requires discipline and regular review. By practicing these habits and developing a proactive approach to managing your money, you can improve your financial stability, work towards your goals, and enjoy greater financial freedom.
You know who made you.
In this video, financial guru Dave Ramsey and Chris Hogan give us the gist on why you should pursue financial freedom and teach us why and how to do financial mind reset. The Ramsey Reset is a term often associated with financial expert Dave Ramsey and his approach to personal finance. While there isn't an official concept or specific methodology called the Ramsey Reset, it generally refers to a financial philosophy and mindset promoted by Dave Ramsey to help individuals take control of their money and achieve financial freedom. At its core, the Ramsey Reset emphasizes the importance of living within your means, eliminating debt, saving money, and making intentional financial decisions. The key principles of the Ramsey Reset can be summarized as follows. Budgeting. Creating a detailed budget is crucial to understanding and managing your money effectively. It involves tracking income, categorizing expenses, and allocating funds based on priorities and goals. Debt snowball. The debt snowball method involves listing your debts from smallest to largest balance and focusing on paying off the smallest debt first while making minimum payments on other debts. Once the smallest debt is paid off, the money previously allocated to it is rolled into paying off the next smallest debt. This method aims to build momentum and motivation as debts are progressively eliminated. Emergency fund. Establishing an emergency fund is a fundamental step in the Ramsey Reset. The goal is to save 3 to 6 months' worth of living expenses in a separate account to provide a financial safety net in case of unexpected events, such as job loss or medical emergencies. Cash envelopes. The cash envelope system involves using physical envelopes to allocate specific amounts of cash for different spending categories. This method promotes conscious spending and helps individuals stay within their budgeted limits, particularly for discretionary expenses like entertainment or dining out. Living below your means. The Ramsey Reset encourages individuals to live below their means by avoiding excessive debt and prioritizing saving and investing. This lifestyle approach emphasizes making intentional choices and distinguishing between needs and wants. Investing for the future. Once debts are paid off and an emergency fund is established, the Ramsey Reset suggests focusing on long-term wealth building through investing. This typically involves contributing to retirement accounts like 401(k)s or IRAs, and diversifying investments in line with your risk tolerance and financial goals. It's important to note that the Ramsey Reset is a specific financial philosophy that may not suit everyone's circumstances or preferences. While many people have found success following Dave Ramsey's principles, it's essential to assess your own financial situation and consider personalized strategies that align with your goals and values. Financial reset before we embarking on the journey to financial freedom. This video is very resourceful and leaves you with a lot of important financial gold nuggets that may help you on this journey. Watch to the end for a successful comprehension of the matter in the video.
You're absolutely incredible. You're in for an incredible night. This is going to be a lot of fun. And we need it. We need a reset. We need a restart. We need this whiteboard. We need this New Year experience. All of us do. I do, personally. And I'll tell you somebody else that did. You might remember a story about a famous mother pig. She had 3 famous sons. They were known as the 3 little pigs. And one day, Mother Pig looked up and said, "You can no longer live in my basement and play video games. You must go out into the world and make your way." And she encouraged her young sons to make their way in the big bad world. And as she did, she said, "Beware of the big bad wolf. He's ravenous and he will be patrolling the streets looking for dumb little pigs. So the three little pigs packed their bags and said goodbye to their mother, and each went off on a different path. Well, the first little pig, we know about this little pig. We've all heard about him all our lives. He's YOLO Pig. You only live once. Life's short, so let's get straight to it. Thank God it's Friday. Oh God, it's Monday. And so he didn't want to invest a lot of time or trouble into his abode. And so instead of spending time preparing for his future, the first guy he ran into was some straw, sold him some straw, and he built a straw house. The next little pig, we call him Ish Pig, because he did everything ish. Ish Pig, he sort of did things. And so he, a little more than a straw house, he wanted to invest a little more time and a little more trouble into his future. And he knew he should do these things, but it was a lot of trouble, and he would do it ish. And as we all know, ish is a wish. And he ran into a guy with some twigs, and he built his twig house. He knew he should invest himself in his future, but when all his broke little piggy friends told him it was normal to go into debt to buy a new truck and go to a fancy school and live in a neighborhood he couldn't afford, he listened to them. The third pig, Mr. Brick House. I'm going to live like no one else so that later I can live and give like no one else. There's a big bad wolf out there, and he invested effort and time and discipline and trouble into all aspects of his life, and he built the brick house. And any good child knows what happens next. The big bad wolf named Pandemic came along. He's named 2008 with a real estate bubble. He's named 911 with the towers being attacked. He's named Tornado. He's named Hurricane. The big bad wolf is named Forest Fires. And he came looking for little pigs to devour. And he came to YOLO Pig's house and he said, come out, come out. And the first little pig said, I've heard about you. My mom told you. I'm not coming out. You just want a pork sandwich. Not a chance, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. And the wolf said, but I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down. And he did. And he shut down schools and businesses. And he shut down an entire economy. And the little pig escaped barely and ran to his brother's house with the twigs. And the big bad wolf came to the twig house, and Ish Pig was there, and he said, come out, come out. And he said, oh no, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. And he said, but I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll take your life away. And he said, no. And he huffed and he puffed and he blew his house down. And the two little pigs ran for their brother's house. They ran to the brick house. And he huffed and he puffed and he huffed and he puffed and he was unable to blow the house down. And so he left and he went looking for more YOLO and Ish pigs, because the third pig had defeated the wolf. The wolf's coming. He's real. It's called life. Stuff happens. And we have to be ready. We got to be the third pig. And some of us have learned that a long time ago because we got our house blown down earlier. And so this time when it came around, we were ready. But this time when it came around, some others, it's more of your wake-up call this time. This is your time when you say, well, next time he comes, I'll be there where I need to be. Sometimes the big bad wolf came like he did this last year in 2020, and people had no money. They had no savings. They were in debt. They were up to their eyeballs in debt, and they needed to get out. They may have lost their jobs. It's been a really hard time for a lot of folks. The big bad wolf is real. But what we want to do is we want to reset and say, never again. We're going to be ready. Never again. We're going to be ready. Because see, when everything's going good, you can do stupid and get away with it. But as Warren Buffett says, when the tide goes out, you can tell who is skinny dipping. So you can still be the third pig. You can still get ready. I learned all this the hard way myself by going broke. I was in my 20s and the big bad wolf came along in the form of the bank getting sold to another bank, and they blew our house down, and it took 2.5 years to lose everything we owned, and we were so scared we couldn't breathe. I had brand new babies and a toddler and a marriage hanging on by a thread, and I didn't know what to do, and I started learning God's ways of handling money, started applying them to our lives, and we started building a brick house. A house that works when times are good, and a house that works when times are bad. We started building a financial life that works when times are good and when times are bad. And so this year, I was in a different position personally, and a lot of people who have followed those same principles were in a different position when the big bad wolf came. And he huffed and he puffed and his house didn't fall down. You can learn to be the third pig. It's a learned skill, and that's what we're doing tonight. You can be in control of your financial situation. You can build this brick by brick. You could go to Ramsey Plus and take a free trial. That's a brick. You could pack your lunch instead of going through the drive-thru. That's $9. That's a brick. You could sell the old couch that's in the garage to somebody, put the cash towards your emergency fund. That's a brick. You could cut up your credit card and close it and pay it off. That's 2 bricks. You could pay off another credit card and cut it up. That's 2 more bricks. You could even someday have a whole bunch of bricks and pay off your mortgage. I mean, you could put yourself in a position where when this stuff comes at you, you're in a different place. You've changed your family tree. There's not a single magic brick and there's not a single magic pill. This is a change in the way we view our lives and what we value. Are we going to be YOLO? Are we going to be ish? Or are we going to win? And tonight's the night we learn to reset. So you're going to hear us talk a lot about Ramsey Plus, and we want to come alongside you daily in Ramsey Plus. We want to come alongside you weekly over the next 90 days and show you exactly what to do to begin to build your brick house, to begin to put a life in place that is not as vulnerable and takes advantage of good times as well. This year can be different regardless of what wolves are out there. I don't know what 2021 is going to hold. It already has started weird. But I'm getting old, and I've seen a lot of these storms. And I've watched the last half of my life of them from a brick house. The first half of my life I spent getting blown around because I wasn't ready. And it's a different world when you get yourself and your family ready. And that's what we want for you. We want you to have hope. We want you to win. We want you to look at your kids and know that they have a future because of the actions you took. We want you to look and be able to reach across the aisle and help somebody who's struggling because of the actions you took and the position you put yourselves in.
Appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Hello, everybody. Oh, how are you doing? I'm going to tell you, Pastor Craig's got me pumped up to run a half K. I got a car. Shoot, I don't know what he's talking about, all right? I'm so excited to be here. Can we talk about how crazy this year has been? This past year, isn't it insane? I mean, whoever thought that toilet paper and hand sanitizer would become volumes of money, right? It's insane. I mean, I've smelled so much hand sanitizer, I can name the brand, right? That's Perel right there. That's the cheap stuff. I'm staying away from them. They ain't killing no germs, right? And toilet paper, I'm telling you, you buy it in such big packs. You know I have a problem. Here's the deal. My boys, I got 3 sons. One of them called down. He said, Daddy, we're out of toilet paper. I'm like, boy, check your sock drawer, right? Oh, yeah, you got to find creative places to store this stuff, right? Putting it all over the place. But I'm excited to be here. We've had a lot of crazy things going on in this past year. And at this reset event, I really want to dig in and talk to you about a couple of areas that I know without a shadow of a doubt will help you have a financial reset. We've had a lot of things go on that we couldn't control. There's been crazy weather, the pandemic, and boy, there have been some crazy people too. Can I get an amen? Yeah, I'm gonna tell you this, I'm grateful that the crazy people revealed themselves so I can stay away, right? And you all don't act like this crazy is new to you. You raise your hand if you got crazy in your family, okay? If your hand ain't up, you might be the crazy, okay? I'm just here to tell you. There's a lot of things we couldn't control, but I'm here to tell you without a shadow of a doubt, there are some things that we can control. Pastor Craig was talking about training, having the mindset, and I love that because I want to walk you through a process and a system that will help you not only train you, but it's going to help you train your money. And so looking at this, there are some things we can control. I mean, you think about it. There's our faith. Without a shadow of a doubt, we are in control of that. Our attitude, our outlook, our responses, and more importantly, my friends, our actions. We can control these things. Now, crazy people are just going to be crazy. It's okay, we'll pray for them. But what I want us to do is to remain in control of the controllables. I've talked about a lot on this on my show, The Chris Hogan Show. Like, yeah, we can't get caught up in what other people are doing. Let's be sure to be aware. We can't worry about what's happening in the government because we all know they're not going to save the day. See, we have to take care of our house. And when we take care of these things, we remain in control. And so one of the actions that I want to dig in with you tonight and talk about is the action of taking control of our money. I want to talk about budgeting. Now, I know typically when I say that word, people start twitching. They're like, oh, Hogan, those are handcuffs. No, literally, I want to show you as you walk through this process, when you learn to budget, you're going to give yourself a raise. You're going to give yourself an understanding of exactly what's going on. And I think it's important for us to do that. And if we're talking about training, I mean, listen to me, this money stuff, it's not going to happen overnight, but you've got to train yourself to learn. And as Pastor Craig was talking about, train to become, don't just try. And this is the year, I think, the perfect time for us to get more intentional with the doing and less talking about trying. We can do this, and it's going to take some discipline. It's going to take some time. But I'm going to tell you this. I've got 3 boys, and when they were younger, they were 6, 5, and 4. First and foremost, don't do that, okay? No, I'm just here to tell you, give yourself some space, okay? Don't do that. But when they were young, we used to huddle up. I'd huddle up with them. I'm a former linebacker. I know y'all see me up here in my skinny jeans and think, y'all laughed in my face. I mean, I played football back in the day, so I'm used to being like this. This is a linebacker position. And so the boys, we would huddle up before we went into the restaurants because I needed them to understand a few things, right? You got kids, y'all know, and so you huddle up, and I was like, all right, boys, listen. You've been in a restaurant before, okay? We're going in here to eat the food. We don't throw the food, we don't yell, and we go through, and my middle child is wired like me. He's my mini-me. He'd say, Daddy, can I do it? I'd say, all right, son, go ahead. He'd put his hand, he'd say, 1, 2, 3, break. And then we'd go in the restaurant. And my boys would act like they'd been there before. Now, what's funny is when they're that age and they saw other kids misbehaving, they'd say, Daddy, look at that little boy over there acting a fool. Which cracked me up, right? But what's funny is my mini-me, he's the one, he'd say, Daddy, look at that little boy acting like a fool. Then he'd go like this, right? We huddle up. We got to set expectations, lay the groundwork, lay down the rules and the guidelines so we know what's going on so everybody can have a good time. I'm talking about huddling up like that with my kids, but I want you to do that with your money. I literally want you and your spouse to huddle up before the month begins and begin to talk about what's coming in, what's going out, what do we got to do? And I'm going to tell you that huddle up changes the game because your spouse shouldn't be your opponent. It needs to be your best teammate. And what we have to do is work hard for that. We don't naturally grow together, we naturally grow apart. We've got to intentionally grow together. And so working with this budget, I'm gonna tell you, there's a name for money that's not on a plan. You know what it's called? Spent. Yeah, it'll go somewhere. You've seen it, the sales and the stores, they just get you. What I want you to do is have more control. And so being smart. We all know there's these big old grocery stores. You all got Costco and Sam's. You know, there's great, there's fantastic. But you got shopping carts in there that require a CDL license to drive. Like, this too big. If you can go down the aisle and snatch up some eggs on aisle 2, don't be able to grab a couch on aisle 3, right? I need some space. Give me some variety or something, right? We got to be smart. And so in grocery stores, I've been intentional, I'm telling you, training, getting healthier. But I found in Tennessee, we got Oreos that have legs. They just jump up in my cart, right? And they need a home. They're homeless Oreos. I got to help them, right? Pray for me. But listen to me, here's what I figured out about myself. I was ashamed of my grocery budget. You know why? Because I was shopping out of habit, not out of need. And I wasn't bothering anybody. I had the money, my money wasn't bothering anybody. The problem is when my reality check is that I realized I'm helping the grocery store build wealth and I'm going broke. Costco, Sam's, and all of them, they're gonna be okay. Hold on, I'm an equal opportunity offender. Publix, Kroger, and everybody else out there, right? But don't shop out of habit. Just because Saturday morning is your time to go to the grocery store, you don't have to buy everything that's in there. And just because it's on sale doesn't mean it needs to go in your cart. So we gotta learn how to play defense, my friends. And so shopping out of habit, let's nip that in the bud and change it this year. So I wanna give you 4 components of every budget. Looking at this, walking through it, I'm telling you right now, it's gonna give you awareness. Number 1 is your income. You need to know how much is coming in. Number 2 is your giving, your tithe or the charities that you're supporting. Then you're saving, and then you're spending. These 4 areas are things that you can have control over. And remember, we are training, so we're gonna be intentional with it. You can do this. And so setting spending limits on certain things will give you boundaries. And I'm gonna tell you something, I brought out something. I've been talking about these grocery stores, they give out samples. Honey, don't even get happy, okay? I'm on a budget, you not getting this, okay? But how many of y'all have kids? Raise your hands. Okay, how many have 2 or more? 3 or more? Oh, y'all fertile, okay. Don't you wish your kids would behave? Like, don't it? It's amazing, isn't it? They can come from the same DNA, but be wired totally different. But I'm gonna tell you something, unlike kids, money will behave. It'll sit still and obey if you tell it to. Watch this, stay. Now this Benjamin better not leave my hand. Why? Because I didn't give it permission to. And it'll go where I tell it to go. And it'll go when I tell it to go. See, that's the kind of mindset you have to have about your money. Too many of us are walking around with our purses and our wallets just held wide open and stores are just coming and taking. No, we're gonna play defense. We're gonna get smart. And so I'm gonna tell you 6 steps to doing a budget. Walk with me here. Number 1, you're gonna start with your income. How much is coming in? Single income, double income, it doesn't matter. You need to know how much is coming in. Next, you're gonna list all of your expenses, your utilities, your rent, your cell phone, gas. You're gonna list out everything. And then you're gonna subtract expenses from your income. Okay, so you know exactly where you stand. And then once you do that, you're gonna track your expenses. You're gonna make sure, hey, are we staying on target? Are we being smart about some things? And then finally, be flexible. Now, being flexible is important because you're gonna have to learn how to turn some things off so you can turn some other things on. Meaning, hey, you know what? This is all we allotted for eating out. We're gonna shut that down. Like, you gotta be smart about that. Back in the day, I used the envelopes. And the envelope system was a game changer for me because when the money was gone out of the envelope, that meant there was no more doing that thing. And my boys love to go to eat out after church and they're like, Dad, can we go out to eat? I was like, hold on, let me check the envelope. And the envelope, when I opened it up, air and moths came out, right? Nothing in there. I was like, yep, well, we're going to a new restaurant. They're like, what's the name of it? I was like, Mi Casa. And they were happy for about 60 seconds. And they've been taking Spanish. They're like, wait a minute, me and casa, that's house. Oh, Dad. I was like, yep, that's where we're going. And what they did was help them to understand that if there's no money, then there's no doing. And if a child can understand that, as adults, we have to be able to, right? We've got to be able to tell ourselves no. And so I want to take you through an example of a budget. And I talk about this, but I want you all to understand. As a part of Ramsey Plus, you're gonna get every dollar, which is the best budgeting tool on the planet. Remember, we're training and having discipline, so you're gonna have to learn how to do this budget. But inside of Ramsey Plus, you all are gonna get this and have an opportunity to really plug in and learn. So I wanna show you an example budget real quick. Now calm down, I'm not gonna nerd out too much on you, but we gotta see this so we can put it into action. So let's start with income. Let's say it's $3,500 is how much is coming in. Then we said we were gonna list all expenses, so let's list them out. You've got your giving. That's at the top because that should be a priority. Next, you got your saving of $450. You've got rent of $875. You've got utilities of $350, and then you've got groceries/restaurants as $525, transportation, paying for gas and cars, $350, insurance $500, and then miscellaneous $100. So we're subtracting our expenses from our income. This should all equal zero. That's why we call it a zero-based budget. We're giving every dollar a name and a destination. So as you do this, you'll be aware. Tracking your expenses throughout the month will help you tighten up your budget or be able to tighten down some areas that need to be. But let's take a look at this, because this budgeter forgot something, their debt. So we gotta go back. We gotta go back and make some changes, right? We can't forget about debt, we gotta take care of that. So they got a car payment of $325 and a student loan of $150. So we gotta go back to the budget and find some money. So look at this. Saving got chopped down to $200, and groceries went from $525 to $300 to take care of the car payment and the student loan. See, this is the kind of fluidity, the reality, the living, breathing thing that the budget is, that you have the ability to make changes and updates. And that's what I want you to hear. Too many people try the budget for a little while and they get frustrated and irritated. Or they try it for a few minutes and decide to give up. No more try, let's do. And so looking at this, it'll allow you to put it into place. And so sticking to a budget is gonna take about 3 months, you all. 3 months before you get it down pat. But hear me, this budgeting skill is a skill that's gonna follow you through the rest of your financial life. It's gonna set you up to live your dreams. It's gonna set you up to be more generous with people and charities and things that you believe in more than you ever thought possible. So it is something that's imperative that you have to do. And so looking at this, I wanna share with you a few things because the food item was my stupid area. I told you guys, I confessed that to you already. But I wanna give you a few things, 3 things you can do with the food budget that'll help you win. Number 1, make a grocery list, okay? Open up, some of y'all have that can of wax beans or pork and beans that have moved with you 3 times, okay? The label's so tired, it's falling off. Look, eat that stuff. Like meal plan, make a plan. So look at your refrigerator, make a list of what you're gonna buy. Here's the kicker, and this is what I tell myself. Stick to the list. If it's not on the list, don't buy it. I don't care about the sale sign, don't look. If it's not on the list, don't buy it. And stick to the amount that you said you were going to on the budget. Okay, so for groceries, don't you buy that $5 can of corn. Yeah, $2 can, corn is fine, okay? Be smart, but stick to your dollar amount. And what I did, the game changer for me, I went in with cash. This is where I took back my financial future. I set up how much I was gonna spend, I made a list, and I went in with cash. That meant I couldn't overbuy. I couldn't overspend. No, I didn't want to be that person at the counter looking like Boo-Boo the Fool because I can't pay for the stuff. Right? Oh no, I was focused. Look, I had my phone and my little calculators before phones. I had my calculator and I was adding it up, bumped into a friend, messed around and hit reset on the calculator. Oh. And my first thought was, oh, I'll just use the debit card. I ain't got it. I left it at home. I brought $150 cash. This was my big boy moment. What'd I do? Do you go up to the counter and hope and pray? Baby Jesus wasn't gonna show up there. What did I do? I put everything back and started over. It was my grow up moment. I'll never forget that Saturday at 10:35 a.m. No, because the starting over, what did I do? I made a declaration. This is what I'm going to do. I'm doing this and I can. And starting over, and I checked out at $140.59. And you'd have thought I'd hit the Powerball when I walked out of there. Because it was one of those things where I knew I could do this, I just had to break the habits. And so I'm just telling you because I want you to have that moment. I want you to have that moment where you take that stand, where you only shop and buy the things on the list, or you only spend what you said you were going to spend. And I'm telling you, I want you and your spouse to celebrate that because that's a start point. All right, looking at this, you got to be smart. Being intentional, you have to make budgeting a habit. I did the largest study we did, Ramsey Solutions, the largest study of millionaires that's ever been done for my book, Everyday Millionaires. We talked to over 10,000 of them. But get this statistic, 93% of the millionaires say that they stick to the budgets they make. So it's not an accident. And I'm not talking about you doing this just for fun or just a declaration. What I'm saying is I want you to build that muscle, to build that habit to where you are in control. Budgeting will give you peace of mind and it'll help you relax more than you've ever known. Now, let me shift to the next topic, savings. Savings, what we have seen, the personal savings rate in the United States, look at this. It spiked back in April because that was at the height of the pandemic. For over 25 years, Ramsey Solutions has been talking about having an emergency fund. It's important to have an emergency fund. It's important, it's important, it's important. We have never had more brand validation than ever before than last year. People all of a sudden were like, you know about that emergency fund? That's a good idea. And I'm like this, Inside I'm like this, duh, come on. Look smart, but look at this. That's in April, 33.7%. Look where it is now. It's dropped back down to 13.6. See, we've normalized again, okay? We've forgotten, and it's amazing how fast we can get amnesia. And amnesia is part of being stupid. And what we have to do is stop that. We got to look and go, no, no, no. No, it is important to have an emergency fund. So what we have to do is learn how to save. But hear me, saving can't be accidental. It needs to be intentional. Okay? It has to be intentional that you're looking at this and going, no, no, we got to be smart. Back to my study, 97% of millionaires believe that they control their own destiny. It means they're not trying, they're doing. And so in looking at this with budgeting and talking about saving, don't try, I want you to do. You see, when you pile a big pile of cash up, what happens is when you have an emergency, it's just a simple inconvenience. You don't have to run to the bank. You don't have to pick up the phone to call anybody. You've set aside a cushion to protect you, and it's imperative. Budgeting will help you take care of the necessities. Saving will prepare you for an emergency. And so the goal is to attack debt and then build up a serious, fully funded emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses. See, this is that thing we're talking about to be able to save and protect you. Now hear me, we want to save for 3 reasons. Purchases and spending, okay? A little lady came up to me, I was on book tour in Denver years ago for my first book, Retire Inspired, and she had on flip-flops. You know when somebody is walking with attitude with flip-flops because you can hear them popping awful fast, right? Little bitty woman, and I could hear her coming. She was like, pop, 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 pop. And she rolled up on me, she was about this tall, and had big attitude. She said, Christopher Hogan, you and Dave Ramsey, I have a problem with y'all. And I bent down and I said, oh, ain't you cute? And I started to pick her up, but that's a violation. You can't do that. I bent down, people. Don't look at me like that. And I said, oh, honey, what's wrong? She goes, y'all don't want nobody to have no stuff. And I just looked at her and I wanted to pat her on the head, but I didn't. I said, oh, baby, no. I want you to have nice stuff. Dave wants you to have nice stuff. We just don't want the stuff to have you. And when you have to work hard and leave the people you love, your family, to go work to pay for some stuff that don't count, that's a problem. And so I want you to pay cash for stuff. I want you to get in the habit of paying cash for small, medium, and large things. Like small things like birthday parties. I'll never forget, I was on a budget, was getting intentional with money, and my kids, every time I turned around, they were coming home with some kind of birthday party invitation. And that's, you buy a birthday gift for a kid, that's $20, $30. They were hitting the budget. And finally I told them, all 3 of them, I said, come here, sit down. I got the daddy tone, they knew something was wrong. I was like, listen, quit being so nice at school. I'm like, you get 1 friend, that's it. Blowing up my budget? No, I'm just playing. Pay cash for stuff, people. Small stuff, medium. Washer, dryer, breakdown. You don't have to trip. You don't have to flip out. You just go get the money out of the emergency fund. You go pay cash for it. I'm going to tell you one of my other big boy moments. The first one was the grocery store. You know what the second one was? Paying cash for my first car. Game changer. Game changer. For this little old Kentucky boy, I'm little on the inside, people. I'm little on the inside. But to save up the cash and pay cash for that vehicle was a game changer for me. Because I realized, yes, I can do this. And I know without a shadow of a doubt, if I can do it, I know you can. But what we have to do is prove to ourselves. We have to take that step so you can pay cash. Another thing I want you to save for is emergencies. Life happens. Watch this. Raise your hand if you've had a car repair in the last 12 months. Okay, see, there it is. If your hand ain't up, you on the clock. Okay, it just happens, right? I'm not putting that on your car. Baby Jesus busts his cars. Watch over him. Watch over him. We got to save for emergencies because life is going to happen. You know that. Some of y'all been saying prayers every morning as you walk toward that car to hope it starts, right? Okay, well, at some point you're going to need a battery, people. You just are. Another thing you save for is wealth building. And this is an area I'm absolutely passionate about. I talk about it on the Chris Hogan Show with callers all the time because I know without a shadow of a doubt, if you don't save and invest for the future, you're not going to have anything to spend. And those kids and grandkids that you love so much, the last thing you want to do is be a burden for them. So it's imperative for us to take care of our financial future. So we save for purchases, we save for emergencies, and we save to build wealth. Now, these last several months, we've seen a lot of things happen that are outside of our control. But I want you to hear me with this. Budgeting will give you more control over your money than you ever imagined. You just have to begin to do it. Don't try. It will. The other thing is saving will give you more peace of mind than you ever thought possible. Because when you have that fully funded emergency fund and something breaks down, all you have to do is just get the money and fix it. You don't have to call family, you don't have to call a bank, and you don't have to sit in that loan office while somebody's judging you to see if you're worthy. See, it's time for us to take back control. It's time for you to start to believe in you and what you can do. But you need a system that will work. And Ramsey Plus is that system. These principles have changed my life. Okay, I've lived them. It changes things. It helps you to see things totally different, and it will give you more control. So no more wondering, no more guessing. What I want you to do is to be about doing. For you, the people you love, and also the things that you care about. This past year has been crazy, and we don't know what's coming in this year, but you and I do know who holds the future. Can I get an amen? And I can't be scared if I've got him in my corner. And I want you to have that mindset of understanding as you budget and as you save, it's you being a good steward of what you've been blessed with. Please don't do like I did years ago and say, when I start making more, I'll get more serious. I'm not going to ask for a show of hands because there'll be too many that pop up. But I'm here to tell you, if you can't manage 40 well, why would he bless you and give you 50? Okay? If you can't start right where you are, why would he? Now, I'm not saying that he would withhold from you. What I'm saying is when you start to get intentional with the plan, you're going to feel more in control. And that 40 can feel like 50 when you get more intentional because it's not an accident anymore. So I want you to believe. I know we all get that little sound in the back of our head that can tell us you can't do it or you shouldn't try. And I want you to mute that voice. It's time to play another track. It's time for you to find your hopes and dreams. You just have to give the effort. Have the discipline, be willing to stay focused, and most importantly, if you're married, work together. No more things in the middle of you. Get serious, get connected at the heart, and work. If you're newly single or single, find an accountability partner, somebody that loves you, believes in you, and wants you to be successful. I know you can do this. Budgeting will give you power. Saving will give you peace. You can do this, and we're here to help.
I hope you enjoyed the video, but most importantly, that you picked out the gold financial nuggets mentioned. As you embark on this journey, I will walk with you all the way because we all need someone to walk alongside us on this not-so-easy journey. I have linked a free quick start budget tool that can help you get started in the description. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, like, and share. See you in the next video.